Welcome back to Everyday English. We're here to help you learn, real practical English for everyday life.
Especially if you're living here in the United Kingdom.
And we are so glad you've joined us.
Before we really get started, if you want to keep learning English with us and unlock some of these secrets to British life,
Please do us a little favor. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps us out.
it really does. So today's topic.
Yes, today we are tackling something that is, well, it's absolutely central to the British experience, but it can be totally mystifying for newcomers.
We're talking about the UK pub.
And pub culture, it's a huge topic.
It is because for so many visitors or, new residents, the pub just feels like a completely different world.
Right. You walk in, there's no host, no waiter.
Everyone's just standing around. Am I supposed to wait to be seated? It's confusing.
And that feeling, that thought of, am I doing this right? That's exactly what we want to get rid of for you today.
Yeah, we're going to walk you through how pubs actually work, teach you some of those essential English phrases.
And cover the behavior, the etiquette, so you can feel completely comfortable.
So let's start with the most important thing, the core idea, what a pub actually is.
Yeah.
Because if you just think it's a bar to drink alcohol.
Then you're already on the wrong foot.
Exactly. You're missing the whole cultural point.
Gosh, so culturally, what is a pub?
It's first and foremost a social space. The word pub is actually short for public house.
A public house.
Historically, it was the community center. That's where you'd meet friends, of course, but also where families would gather, where people would relax after work.
And that history changes the whole atmosphere, doesn't it?
It does. That's why you see everyone in a pub. You'll see older people, young people, families with kids.
It's not just a place for drinking. It's for talking, watching football, eating food, just relaxing.
So the big takeaway here is, don't think of it as just a bar. Thinking of it as a community living room is the key to understanding everything else.
And that really helps explain the first big surprise for most people, which is how you actually get a drink.
This is it. This is the first big hurdle.
In most UK pubs, there is no table service. You do not wait for someone to come to you.
No. You have to go to the bar,
Mm-hmm.
you order at the bar, you pay at the bar, and you do it all right away.
So you walk in, you find a spot, and then you approach the bar. And this is where you face the Great British Challenge.
The invisible queue.
The invisible queue. It never looks like a proper line, does it?
Not at all, but don't be fooled. Everyone knows who is waiting first. It's all very polite.
So what do? You just step up to the bar?
You stand there patiently, and you try to make eye contact with the bar staff. No waving your money around, no shouting.
And they are watching. They see you. So eventually they'll look in your direction, and you might hear that crucial question.
Who's next?
That's the one. And it's their way of checking who's been waiting the longest.
Right, so if it's your turn, the answer is very, very simple.
You just say, me, please.
Or maybe, I think I am. Thank you. Something simple like that.
Okay, so you have their attention. Now you need to order.
And you want to be efficient. The language here is, it's functional and friendly.
A lot of learners try to use really formal phrases from a textbook, but it can sound a bit stiff.
Yeah, you don't need to do that. The most common way to order is just to use the phrase.
Can I get?
Exactly. Can I get a pint of lager, please?
Yeah.
Or, can I get a Coke? It's polite but direct.
And always, always say please.
Always. Then you pay immediately. And here's a really important bit of etiquette.
What's that?
Once you have your drinks, you move away from the bar.
Oh, that's a huge one.
Yes. Don't just stand there blocking the space where the next person needs to order. Take your drinks and find your table or your spot.
Clear the way for the next person. Which brings us to the next social layer, doesn't it? The concept of rounds.
Ah, yes. Buying around. This is very, very British.
So if you're out with a group of friends.
One person will often buy drinks for everyone in that group. That is, a round. You'll hear someone say, can I get a round in?
And it's more than just about money. It's a social system, really. It shows fairness and politeness.
It does. People take turns. So if your friend buys the first round of drinks,
You need to signal that you're part of the system.
right, you would say something like, it's my round next, or
Yeah.
I've got the next one.
It just keeps everything friendly and fair. No one has to calculate who owes what.
But what if you don't want another drink? Or you need to leave? You need a polite way to get out of the round system.
This is so important. You don't want to seem rude.
The best phrase, the most common one, is, I'm all right for now, thanks.
Simple as that. I'm all right for now, thanks.
It's polite, it shows you appreciate the offer, but you're good for now.
Okay, so we've got the ordering, we've got the rounds. Now let's talk about what you're actually ordering, because just asking for a beer is a classic mistake.
Oh, a huge mistake. Yeah, you can't just say a beer.
It's like going into a restaurant and just asking for food.
Exactly. You need to be more specific. First, about the size.
Size is usually pretty easy. It's either a pint, which is the large glass,
Or a half, which is a half pint.
and then you have to say the type of drink.
This is the crucial bit. For beer, the main types you need to know are lager, ale, or cider.
Lager's probably the most common worldwide, that sort of light, fizzy beer.
Ale is more traditional, often a bit darker and less fizzy. And cider, of course, is made from apples.
So putting it all together, a proper order would sound like?
Can I get a pint of lager, please?
Or a half of cider, please.
Perfect. Size, type, and politeness. That's the formula.
So once you successfully got your drink and you found your spot, the next thing is just sort of fitting into the general atmosphere. Let's talk about pub manners.
Well, the general vibe is relaxed, but it's all built on British politeness. So please and thank you are, absolutely essential.
Of course. But what about things like tipping? That's a huge point of confusion.
It really is. In the UK, you generally do not tip for just getting a drink at the bar.
So you don't leave a pound on the counter after you get your beer.
No. If the service was really, really good, or you had a meal, you might say to the bartender.
And get yourself a one.
Exactly. Which means, use the change to buy a drink for yourself later. It's a nice gesture, but it's completely optional.
And what about when the pub is really busy? How do you get served?
The main rule is be patient.
So no waving your arms or clicking your fingers.
Definitely not. That scene is incredibly rude. You just wait your turn and try to make eye contact. Your patience will be rewarded.
And that actually leads us to a really interesting part of pub culture.
The social side of it.
Yeah, pubs are one of the very few places in the UK where strangers will actually talk to each other quite easily.
It's so true.
Yeah.
On a bus or in a shop, people tend to keep to themselves. But in a pub, the barriers kind of come down.
Which is a fantastic opportunity if you're practicing your English.
Absolutely. People might make a comment about the football match on the TV or...
The weather. It's always the weather.
It is always the weather. Someone might turn to you and say, busy tonight, isn't it?
Right. And it's just an icebreaker. It's not a deep question.
So you don't need a long, complicated answer.
No, a simple, yeah, very busy is absolutely perfect. You just mirror their energy.
And we have to mention the sorry reflex.
Oh, yes. This is so surprising for visitors. If someone even slightly bumps into you, they will almost certainly say sorry.
Even if it was kind of your fault.
Exactly. It's not really an apology. It's more like a social lubricant, just to acknowledge the tiny interaction.
And the correct response is just a quiet, no worries.
Okay, let's touch on food. A lot of pubs serve amazing food.
Yeah, often called pub grub. It's usually very hearty, comforting food.
What are the classics we should look out for?
You'll always find things like fish and chips, big savory pies like a steak and ale pie.
Sausage and mash. And on Sundays, the legendary Sunday roast.
And you usually still order the food at the bar. You'll give them your table number, pay, and then they'll bring it out to you.
And if you're not sure if they're serving food, you might hear the phrase, "The kitchen's open."
That's your cue. That means you can go and order.
Okay, so we're near the end, and I think we have to finish with maybe the most important cultural tip of all.
This is one that relieves so much pressure for people.
It is completely 100% normal and acceptable to go to a pub and not drink alcohol.
Absolutely. Do not feel any pressure at all. Lots of people order soft drinks, tea, coffee, non-alcoholic beers.
You're there for the company and the atmosphere.
Exactly. Nobody will judge you or even think twice if you order a sparkling water. You're just there to socialize.
So really, the main thing to remember is that pub culture is about relaxing. It's not about being perfect.
If you're just polite, patient, and you remember your pleases and thank yous, you will fit in perfectly.
Remember that the whole pub experience is less about the drinking and more about community and conversation.
Now, here's a final thought for you to take away. If the pub is the traditional public house for the community, what serves that role today? Is a modern coffee shop or maybe a co-working space the new pub for the 21st century? It's interesting to think about.
That is a great thought. Well, we've covered a lot today, from pints to politeness.
We certainly have.
If you want to keep learning about these kinds of nuances in everyday English, please make sure you like this and subscribe to the channel.
And join us next time, where we're going to talk more about British small talk and some of the rules that foreigners often don't know.
That's going to be a good one. Thanks for listening, and keep learning.
We'll see you next time. Bye.